Hey everyone, today we're digging into the question that might sting a little bit, but it's essential for every leader who wants to grow and develop. And that question is, are you a micromanager? Before you say, no way, not me, I'm not a micromanager, pause and consider that often micromanagement hides behind good intentions, such as caring about quality, wanting to be helpful, or needing to stay informed. But here's the truth. Micromanagement kills trust, kills creativity, and kills morale. And if you're trying to lead well, you need to know the signs. So in this video, I'm going to walk through the 5 clear signs you might be a micromanager, plus some reflection questions and practical shifts that you can make starting today. Also remember as we jump into this episode that I post daily leadership tips, quotes, book recommendations, etc. on YouTube in my posts. So check out the tab on my channel. So let's jump in. Sign 1, you struggle to delegate without hovering. You assign a task, but then you check it constantly. Often solicited tweaks are given, or you rewrite the final project yourself. What it signals is a lack of trust in others' ability or the fear of being out of control yourself. Now, I understand that sometimes it feels better to just do it yourself, but over time, that creates dependency and burnout on both sides. I've been guilty of this, and what I've learned is that when I micromanage in this way, it not only wears me out, but it demotivates my employees and they're less creative. So if your employees are not bringing their full creativity to light, or you feel that there's more creativity available, you might actually be the culprit and are holding them back. I've also learned that what I really need is clear communication on a regular basis, and that lowers my desire or my need, so to speak, to micromanage. So try this. When delegating, clearly state the goals and deadlines and then set one midpoint check-in. Also, hold yourself accountable. Did you give the space or did you hover? Sign 2, you believe there's only one way, your way. Micromanagers often insist on things being done their exact way. Many times, this is said in a passive aggressive way, like, hey, that's interesting. I would have done it differently, or let me show you a better way to do that, or you fill in the blank. You've heard them all said. But here's the problem. When you demand your way, you're shutting people down. You're shutting down their learning, their creativity, their ownership. If you hire the right person and they can do it 80% as good as you, back off. Let them do it. Honestly, let them do their job or fire them so they can get a job and they can use their skills and enjoy using their skills. You're really stifling them. You're actually hurting your employees when you stifle them with your over-the-top restrictions. Again, I used to do this to some extent, hopefully not crazy, but I did catch myself doing this. And when I stopped, wow, did the creativity ever begin flowing? Would I have done things the way they did it? No, probably not. Not because my way was better, but here's what I learned. They were way more creative than me. They had way more ideas. They were way more excited about their ideas because it was theirs. It was real and they got to lead through it. So try this. Ask yourself, is this about the outcome or about my ego? Invite alternatives. What's your approach to this? Ask that question. What's a way you would solve it? Again, invite people in. You want to ask questions that encourage them and put their mind at rest. Just as a side note, I fall into this trap. Don't expect your employees to be able to process as fast as you can. Many times they can, but many times they can't. If they can't give you an answer on the spot, don't assume they don't know what they're doing. Give them time to think and then circle back. Sign 3. You set unrealistic deadlines because you could do it faster. Micromanagers often think, this should only take an hour, forgetting that others may need more context, training, or space to work. The underlying belief here is that if I had time, I could knock this out quickly. That mindset really does create stress and signals to your employees lack of empathy. I realize we all need deadlines for projects. That's not what we're talking about here. It goes back to the first sign and my point of the 80% rule. While others may not be as fast right now or think exactly like you, that's not a bad thing. You don't want a bunch of robots. I mean, you may think you do, but you actually don't. Ask clarifying questions up front, such as how long will this take? What is the deadline? What resources do you need? When will you check in with me? These questions will provide you the space to dialogue and agree on a realistic deadline. The key here is to take time to dialogue, not judge. Sign 4, you're always in the loop on everything. You have to be in the loop on everything, or else you feel like you're out of control. Do you find yourself reviewing every message, jumping into every meeting, or feeling anxious if you're not CC'd on every email? I gotta say, that's not involvement, that's called control. And it tells your team, I don't trust you to handle things on your own. This actually came up in my interview with Dr. Hans Finzel on his book, The Top 10 Mistakes Leaders Make, a few weeks ago. Good leaders trust their employees and do not want to know everything because they don't have time for that. Hiring good employees, holding them accountable to fair standards, and let them check in on a regular basis allows them to thrive. It really is that simple. And what does that do? It frees you up as a leader to then do the things that you do well. Micromanagement sucks the air out of not just the room, but out of your life and your enjoyment as a leader. Sign 5, you give too much information. We think being helpful means being thorough. Well, that might be true, but there's a tipping point where your team is buried in information. Micromanagers over-explain. They provide step-by-step direction when all the team needs is a goal and guardrails. Is this you? Do you like to be no disrespect to engineers here, but are you the engineer explaining the why, behind the how, behind the thought, you get the idea. Keep it simple and reverse engineer the conversation, if you will. Instead of you explaining, ask your manager to brief you exactly where they are stuck and why. Don't assume you know the why they're stuck and the where they're stuck. Or when explaining something new, share the what and the why and let their team figure out how they're going to make it happen. In other words, you want a collaborative experience here. Ask, did I give enough to get started or too much to not allow you to think on your own? Again, all of these can be done at different times, but doing them too much, becoming a micromanager, is over the top and sucks the wind out of your team. So are you seeing yourself here? So let me pause and ask, how many of those signs hit close to home? If you saw yourself in one or two of those, the good news, you're probably normal and you can keep working on those areas. We all tend to gravitate towards those from time to time, one or two. If you checked all 5, well, that is good news that you're self-aware. And it also shows that you really do need to pay attention to this and grow and develop. This will limit your ceiling. I work with a lot of leaders that want to go to the next level, managers to directors, directors to vice presidents, and their ceiling is emotional intelligence. And if you're a micromanager, you probably don't have high emotional intelligence. Leadership is not about perfection. It's about self-awareness and adjustment. Micromanagement is also not just a behavior. It's actually a signal that it might be time to rebuild trust, reassess your control needs, or realign how you measure success. So your next step, make one shift this week. Pick one of the signs that resonated most. Make one intentional change in how you lead this week. Pay attention. What changed in how your team responded to your changes? I do want to mention that each of my videos comes with a free downloadable PDF. So you will have to give your name and email to access the toolkit. You won't get spammed, but what you will get is full access, not just to this toolkit, but all the toolkits to every episode I've done on YouTube. They're free. They're easy for you to use. You can download them, use them with your team as you like. In the end, if this added value, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. What's one area you're working on to let go of control and to lead better, be more emotionally aware? Or how has a micromanaging boss impacted your work? And what are ways that you have grown and developed through that? And don't miss part 2 coming up, where I'm going to talk through how to delegate effectively without micromanaging, because that can be a challenge. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Hankin, your leadership coach. Keep questioning, keep growing, and keep leading change.